Hey, this is Eric Hunter, and I got a question today about using the pendulum. And the question was, will my personal energy polarity affect the pendulum alchemy work? So when I take a pendulum like this one here, and I hold it and I use it to give a command, does my personal energy polarity affect the movement of the pendulum and the effect that it's going to have on people? And the answer is no. The reason why is when you do pendulum alchemy or pendulum healing, you are not using your own energy to do this work. I mean, beyond holding the pendulum, thinking about what you want to say, saying a few things, beyond that, you're not using your own energy unless you incorrectly project your energy out to try to make this work. But that's a completely unnecessary step. And if you're doing this work correctly, you do not do that. You just follow the steps and you do it in a way that does not use your own energy. So basically the way this works, for those of you who are new to this, is you take a pendulum, you hold it, you make a statement about what you want to happen, and then you energize that statement by spinning the pendulum around in a circle like this, or an ellipsis. And this process is called delivering a pendulum command. This magically influences reality. It sends the information into the astral realm, it affects the physical world, and it causes change to happen. It increases the likelihood that what you want to have happen will happen. So the person who was asking me this question was saying, well, when I hold the pendulum, is my personal energy going to be affecting what's going on? And the answer is no. And the reasons why are that the pendulum is on a string. And this is why I always tell people to use a string and not a chain, because you want to have insulation. String does not conduct energy. So if you hold the pendulum and close your hand, so your hand chakra is not involved, and you spin the pendulum, the only energy that you're using is holding the pendulum up with your hand, thinking about what you want to say, and saying the command. Beyond that, you're not using your own energy. And this will send, this action of saying the command while spinning the pendulum will send a signal out into the world. All right, so people are worried though, like, so what's the effect? So here is like an extreme example of this. So if you want to know why your personal energy doesn't matter, you can just take a pendulum and hang it like I've done here. And instead of holding the pendulum, you could just take this pendulum and you could say your command. So I'm going to say, raise the consciousness of everyone in this video to the highest, watching this video to the highest level possible. Now I'm letting the pendulum spin, and I'm not holding it. So my energy is nowhere involved with this at all beyond me just saying the command. My personal energy polarity, it doesn't matter. And this is why it also doesn't matter if you use your right or left hand when doing this work. So now see, it's finished. It stopped spinning around. It's going side to side. That means the command has been delivered. So I'm going to do another one. Send love to everyone watching this video. So all that matters is that the pendulum spins and I say a command. It doesn't matter if I hold the pendulum or don't hold it. Now, obviously, most of you are going to hold it because it's easier to do. But if you were getting tired of holding it, you could just tie it onto something, like get a stand or something and do this and say the command and wait till it stops spinning. So now it's almost stopped spinning. There, it stopped. It's going now, just going side to side. It's no longer creating a circle. So that command has now been completed. So this is why it doesn't matter when you're doing pendulum healing if you use your right or your left hand, because your personal energy polarity has absolutely nothing to do with this. You are not connecting energetically at all with the pendulum or with the person you're trying to heal. What you're doing is you are using metaphysical principles that provide you with a degree of separation from the work that you're doing, an energetic separation, while also sending your intentions out into the world, energizing them and stimulating change to occur, making what you want to have happen more likely. So if I'm doing this pendulum command, like to heal somebody, the pendulum is in their energy field, not my hand, unlike in other healing methods where you're sticking your hand in. So the pendulum is in the energy field. The pendulum is insulated from your hand because when you hold it, you close your hand chakra and there's a string, so energy doesn't travel up cords. It travels up chains and metal and things like that. So you're sticking this in somebody else's energy field, and then you're saying, like, you know, send them blue-green healing energy. And you're letting it spin around. And that spinning action creates like a vortex that your words go into. It creates sacred space, as the famous anthropologist Marcel Eliade talked about in his book on shamanism and on sacred space. So it creates a sacred space. It creates a temple, a church, a sacred tree, a sacred rock, a sacred mountain, a space where the normal rules of reality don't apply. And it gets in there, and then it can go out into the ethers and affect things. But the cool thing is, it doesn't matter if you hold it or not. All that matters is that the elements of the process are there. So there's spinning motion of a pendulum. And this particular pendulum has a very high frequency because of its shape and its materials. It has a very good energetic frequency, good vibration, high Bovis value, etc. So you have that spinning action of this high frequency object. I'll do it again. And then on top of that, you have your words, your consciousness, your intention being put into that milieu of the spinning action that creates a sacred space, plus the high, you know, consciousness object, plus your spinning action. So I'll do it right now. I'll show you all the elements. So let's see. Harmonize my relationships with everybody watching this video. So I don't have to hold the pendulum, and right now the pendulum is working. As always, do this work for the highest good of all concerned. So only if in the highest good of all concerned. So what I'm trying to show here is that with pendulum alchemy and pendulum healing, your personal energy polarity is totally irrelevant because you are not using your own energy for this work. And the extreme example of that is you can just tie your pendulum onto something, and you can just spin it and give the pendulum commands, and it will still have the same effect as if you're holding the pendulum and doing it. Okay, so I hope that was useful and that makes sense. Thanks for watching this video. I'll see you next time. Bye.